Let's do this. Live on Facebook. All right, it is mindset training for spiritual life coaches. This subject is about actually, the question I want to say is, can you be material? Can you be spiritual and material? That's what I'm going to call this one. Can you be material and spiritual? Mindset training for spiritual life coaches. Come on, let's do this. Come on, let's do this. Share it on my own timeline. Thank you. Go live. This meeting is being live streamed. All righty. Hello, everybody. It's Crystal Lynn, and I am here today with mindset training for spiritual life coaches. And today I am talking about, I'm going to be talking about some things very specifically, but there's some things on my mind. So I hope that this is meaningful and impactful for you. We're going to start off answering that question. Can you be material and spiritual, right? And of course you can be. Do you want to be? And is there any reason to be? And I would say yes, because I find that too often spiritual people tend to be a little bit too spiritual, and they don't take enough care of their material concerns. And when I say spiritual people, I'm talking about the woo-woo sort. And look, I'm going to call myself out, okay? Because I'm not trying to act like I've always had my stuff together, because there was a time when I did not have myself together. There was a time when I was really into being just spiritual, and I was letting my love of spiritual freedom, spiritual thought, that joy that comes along with being connected to spirit and kind of running with that all day, I allowed my mentality to let me not handle my material world business. And I paid a price for that. For years, I paid a price for that. Number one, I never learned how to handle material world business until now, until I got older. And I also just wasted a lot of time. Don't get me wrong, being with spirit is not wasteful, but I didn't need to spend all that time with spirit. And I allowed my emotions to dictate to me too much. My emotions were running this, as opposed to me feeling my emotions and managing my emotions and managing my moods, my mindset, my thoughts. Instead of being an adult and managing, I let my emotions really run me, okay? Not very badass butterfly-like, all right? So what I would like to start off today's topic or today's conversation, I want to start off and just say that it is really powerful to be super spiritual, super connected, super woo-woo, and to have your shit together in the material world. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's lesson. So this is mindset training for spiritual life coaches. This is a program that I'm running. We're like approaching, we got 2 more weeks left, or we've got 4 more sessions left. Okay. And this last week is going to be talking about like what it means to be a material badass. So we know about the first 2 badasseries. Okay. My badasseries are spiritual and emotional and material. Okay. So in order to be a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have to be a spiritual badass, meaning you are really connected to spirit. You understand how to manifest what you want. You know how to take the spirit energy ideas and bring it into form so that we can use them here on earth. You have to know how to follow your divine life purpose, and you have to be committed to when spirit's like, hey, you need to do this. You need to be able to step up and rise to the occasion for spirit as well as for yourself. And you still have to be there for your family. Okay. All that. We're going to talk about that today. And you have to embody the divine feminine. Divine feminine is that wonderful, beautiful, creative energy. It's a life force energy. We need to embody that, but we need to own that in our bodies and in our lives, not let it rule us. Like me letting my emotions run my life for 30 years. That was dumb. Okay. 40 years, excuse me, because that's closer to what it was, really. 40 years of just being emotional and not being able to control stuff and losing my hair and all the health stuff of having, blocked emotions or stuck emotions or emotions that are running like crazy. It's just too much. Okay. So that spiritual badassery is understanding energy and creating something very positive with it and using that energy, accessing that energy, but not letting that energy overrule you or make you crazy and make you fail. Okay. Emotional badassery. So you need to be an emotional badass as well. And for me, your emotional badassery as a life coach comes through this sense of being an authority with your emotions. So there's the authority that you have within yourself energetically, your emotions as energy in motion. But there's also that authority that comes from having pain, being in pain, knowing pain. Okay. And mostly I'm talking about emotional pain. There can be physical pain too. But as spiritual life coaches, we are dealing 99% of the time with emotional pain. And when somebody comes to you with physical pain, it's usually got an emotional source. So there you go, emotional pain. So taking emotional pain and alchemizing it, meaning if emotional pain is vibrating down here, we need to know as a spiritual life coach, and in order to call yourself an emotional badass, you have to know how to take that low vibrational thing that's kind of vibrating like this, and then raise the frequency so that it's high and light and it turns into love. That's alchemy, the alchemy of emotions. Okay. The alchemy of that idea of transferring something that's low and dark and hard into triumph, into overcoming, into lessons, right? So that's alchemizing pain. We also learned that you need to have a spiritual philosophy, and that's kind of my favorite thing to talk about, is how to have a spiritual philosophy. What is your spiritual philosophy? That is, what do you think? What have you gone through? Like, what do you believe? What are your thoughts on the subject of the law of attraction? What are your thoughts on on abundance? Your thoughts, your beliefs, those make up your spiritual philosophy. And in order to be a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have to know what your philosophy is. And you need to have that philosophy in writing. I know people cringe when I say you have to put your philosophy in writing. Cringe away, but write. Okay. You don't have to be like a Nobel Peace Prize winning writer. Okay. It doesn't matter how beautifully you write. Somebody else can clean up your writing for you. Somebody can write stuff for you, but you have to have the ideas. And in order to disseminate your ideas, writing is so powerful. Of course, you're reading all the time, even when you're watching the news or you're listening to a podcast, there's a good chance that there was a lot of writing that went into those things first. And then you can talk about things more deeply after you've written them out. It's very powerful. So we talked about that last week, and that's a part of being an emotional badass is being able to take your understanding of what you've experienced, especially emotional pain, and being able to talk about it in a way that feels usable and helpful to the world, your community, your tribe, your followers, your readership, your viewers, etc. Okay, your friends, all right? And then lastly was evidencing your street cred. And this is the idea of, hey, you're a life coach, you need some testimonials, right? So how do you have testimonials when you are brand new as a life coach? Well, we talked about that. And basically it's, well, you are your own first testimonial. You taking account of the pain you've been in and how you've transformed and demonstrating that and bringing people into your world, you will be your own walking, talking testimonial. All right. So those are the first two sections of being a badass butterfly. The first two keys of being a badass butterfly spiritual life coach is being a spiritual and emotional badass. So this week we're wrapping up with this material badassery, where you are in the three-dimensional world and you are rocking the three-dimensional world. So you rock spirituality. You may not be able to say it right, okay, but you sure know how to feel it. So you rock spirituality, you rock the emotions, and you rock the material world. That is powerful. I mean, even if you just think about it for right now, what if you were rocking, like you owned all three of those planes? You would have a very good life. You would feel very fulfilled. It'd be easy to wake up in the morning, right? You'd wake up in the morning with enthusiasm. And when challenges came your way, because we're living in this three-dimensional world where there are challenges, okay, and maybe even obstacles, you would face those, though, with a sense of excitement, challenge, opportunity, zest, vibrancy, and courage, right? So the idea is that you need to embody all three of these things. So let's talk about what I mean for material badassery. Now, I started off this conversation and I asked you, can you be spiritual and still be a badass in the material world? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to give you the key right now. Okay. And if you are enrolled in the mindset training program, you will find these all written out. But I'm going to go ahead and let me open up let me open up the hey, Jessica Louise. She says, I need this subject today. I love how that feels. That does feel good. I know it feels good because that's our divine inheritance. That's why we're here on earth. We are here to rock all those planes. Emotions, we all love spirit. We know spirit. We love Kundalini. We love our spirit guides, our angels. We love, the feeling of our chakras. We love our aura. We love we love the spiritual stuff, right? We also love our emotions. Yes, we know our emotions are hard and difficult sometimes, but I know all my friends, even when they are in the dark night of the soul, they will be like, I love this. I'm alive, feeling my feelings. That's how we do it. That's how we roll, okay? So we are great masters of the spiritual and the emotional, and we just need to get it together in the material. And this little system that I'm going to talk to you about today, I think you're going to like it. because a lot of times spiritual people don't do emotion, they don't like the material world because there's a lot of conflicting ideas about what it means to be in the material world. It's like, it feels more powerful to say, like, I'm not of this world, I'm not in this world, you know, I'm above this world. Well, I don't know about you, but I actually really like this world a lot. I love people. I love animals. I love the sensual pleasures. I love nature. I love the sea. I love this world so much. I love architecture. I love science. I love I hate what happens in the news, but I love the people that are going through things that we see in the news. I have a lot of love for the material world in which we live. And so um, I understand when we see war, we see greed, we see anger, we see violence, we experience those things. And we want to turn away from that. But I'm telling you that that is not the answer. The answer is to go toward those things, but to go toward those things from a place of love and empowerment. And if you're hiding from those things, or if you're avoiding those things, then you're not actually helping the earth. You're not actually helping the people on it when you're saying, oh, I'm just going to be in this vibration, I'm not going to deal with that, you know? Well, okay, fine, but you need to know that people in Ukraine are suffering, so that maybe you can donate some clothing to them, or maybe you can go buy a bag of groceries, a bunch of canned goods, and send that to someone, even in your own neighborhood, you know, homeless people, whatever you can do it to locally. Okay, so now I'm jumping ahead of the thing. Let me show you the system that I got, okay? So let me share my screen. Okay, so here we are in the program for this week. All right, boom. Is this the right week? Material Badassery, yeah, we're good. All right, so you have your workbook for this week. And Rebecca, as always, does a great job with the workbooks, putting together beautifully designed materials for us to enjoy. So let's see, then we go on to the next lesson. So download your workbook, and we have, as usual, our quote for the week. And this week, the quote is, we can learn a lesson from the butterfly beginning its life, crawling along the ground, then spinning a cocoon, patiently waiting until the day it will fly. I think that's really beautiful, especially that patiently waiting part, because I'm not that what is it, when the caterpillar's in the cocoon, it's not really a caterpillar anymore, because the body is, if it's the cocoon, it's now in the cocoon. It's now really the butterfly that's like just kind of waiting for things to form. Yeah, that patiently waiting thing. I'm kind of like, what time is it? When is this going to happen, God? Excuse me, you guys. Hello, spiritual guidance team. When is this? I'm on a time schedule. Okay. Yeah, patiently waiting is not my style, but I'm learning. All right. So that's our lesson our quote for this week. Now, for today's session, it's called Declaring Your 11. And I have some notes here for you to read through, okay? And you'll notice that in the workbook, there are 3 articles, okay? As usual, there are 3 articles, and there are the blank pages for you to write in. The first article, well, anyway, I'm not going to go over what all the articles are, but all 3 of the articles are there, and there are blank pages after each one, so that you can do the home fun for each lesson. All right. So our first lesson and the first article is called Declaring Your 11. And I love this orange color so much. I'm actually going to keep this here, but it is written. These notes are written in the They are written in the home fund, in the curriculum, all right? But I'm just going to use them from over here because I just love this color. So here's the idea, my friends. You're a spiritual being, and you're an empath, and you're intuitive, and you're psychic, and you're highly connected to your divine feminine, okay? And I have heard that very often you are not always in your body, okay? And I've also noticed that you have a hard time manifesting a life in the material world that feels really empowered and successful, okay? This is what I'm hearing. Sometimes you meet with challenges that you aren't really able to overcome, or you feel stressed, or you're burdened. Your life isn't flowing in the 3D the way that you want it to be flowing. All right. So this idea of declaring your 11 is a way for you to start understanding that you can be spiritual, but you can also be in this world effectively, all right? And I have 11 challenges or 11 opportunities for you to step into the material world in a powerful way. So let's talk about those 11 opportunities. So the first one is spiritual connection. And this is about actually making sure that in your material, three-dimensional world every day, you actually own it with spirit. So every day, you have some kind of a daily practice. That's like the basics, okay? And you've heard me say this time and time again. You need to get up in the morning, start your day with spirit, and then the last thing you do at night, you close your day with spirit. So you open your day with spirit and you close your day with spirit, and then whatever happens in the middle, that's between, spirit, I showed up in the morning and the night, you're going to have to handle all the stuff in the middle, okay? And that's kind of how it goes. When you have that great morning practice and that great evening practice, you'll notice that the time in between those, it flows more smoothly. There's more peace. There's more inspiration. There's more solutions. There's less drama. Okay. So that's really important. Now, for your home fun, I'm going to jump ahead here. I'm going to actually hop back into the curriculum here. I want you to read the article, and then I want you to write out your declarations or your commitments to these 11 opportunities that I'm proposing, okay? So that's why we're going over those right now. So I want you to, in your notebook, in your workbook, in this workbook, okay, just being real clear, I want you to write out how you can enhance or bring in more spiritual connection to your life. What are you willing to commit to? And I want you to declare it by writing it out. I declare I'm going to have a spiritual practice every single day without fail. I will never not have my spiritual practice. And I'm probably on my 1,000th, like I'm in my 1,000th day of consistent spiritual practice. It doesn't mean that I've not done silent mind meditation every single day. I do that most of the time. Like I've not done that for 200 days. I haven't not silenced my mind and sat in meditation for at least 200 days. But if I'm not sitting in silence, then I'm doing maybe mantra, or I'm doing a guided meditation. Every day without fail, I journal, I do shadow work, I read my tarot cards, all these kinds of things. Okay, so your spiritual connection, I don't want you to limit it. I don't want you to make it like dramatic and hard, okay? I want you to make it fun, flowing, exciting, and doable. It needs to be doable. And it should not be like, oh, I got to grin and bear. I got to grit my teeth and do this 20-minute silent mind meditation and it hurts. No, Just do 5 minutes, do 2 minutes, do 1 minute of silent mind meditation, and then do pranayama for 10 minutes, or do something like that. Do a combination of something that works, okay? So you got my point. I'm gonna move on. And let me just check in and see if there are any questions. Where am I? What happened? I'm on the wrong one. Okay, here we go. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, please let me know. Thank you, Jessica. Metamorphosis, there's my word. Thank you. Here we are. Now, no, actually, maybe I can close this, and that'll make it easier. There we go. Now she can see. Okay, this makes sense. All right, now, the next thing. So in order to be that badass butterfly who's really owning her life, you have to have material connection. You have to have material badassery, okay? In order to have material badassery, you have to start off with spiritual connection. If you're a spiritual person, okay, you're really in the divine feminine, and if you're trying to be all in the material world and you don't have a spiritual practice in the morning to get you started, no wonder there are issues, okay? Because you need that practice to get you grounded, to get you directed, and to tell you, so you can tell yourself how you're going to use your divine feminine energy over the course of the day. All right. Now, the next thing is emotional wellness. So your energies, how you feel, what you've gone through in the past, what painful traumas you've experienced, any places where you feel stuck and you're not moving forward in your life. You need to have a system to address those issues. And so emotional wellness is a way for you to aim yourself toward being whole and well emotionally. We don't suppress our feelings. We don't ignore or deny or block our feelings. We don't hide our feelings, okay? We want to work toward being authentic. We want to work toward expressing boundaries and setting up your life and declaring that I am going to have emotional wellness is an opportunity for you to tell yourself and the universe and the world around you that you value emotional wellness. You value taking care of your energy, because spirit is the divine feminine, but also emotions fall under that as well. So when you have emotions, that's energy in motion. So managing your emotions is also a part of managing the divine feminine. So make sure that you have emotional wellness. What can you do? What will you declare for yourself that will make you emotionally well in this lifetime? What can you do today to make yourself emotionally well and to perpetuate emotional wellness for yourself? What do you need to do in order to do that? And to have that, I want you to write that down in your workbook, okay? Now, this next one, intellectual expansion. This is an interesting one because very often we get really into spirituality and we're doing spirit, and then we've forgotten all about the science and all the advances in science, okay? All we want to do is be up in spirit and reading only spiritual stuff and spiritual texts and watching only spiritual videos and all that kind of thing, listen only to spiritual music. I want you to take on learning some other things, okay? Enhancing your spiritual knowledge with some knowledge about what's going on in the 3D world, okay? The three-dimensional world. So, for example, I live here in France, and I'm taking an online course that's helping me understand French history, right? Because it helps me understand the culture, and it helps me understand this world in another way. So making sure that you are doing things that's expanding your intellect is really important. You can also do that by gardening, so that, for example, creating a garden. What a wonderful way to expand your intellect and to to do something wonderful for your environment, having beautiful flowers and plants around. You can have, grow some vegetables, grow some herbs. How wonderful to have those things. And what a wonderful way to engage your mind and to make your very spiritual brain also come down to earth. All right. So as that badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you are also really smart. All right. So make sure that you are doing things to expand your intellect. Get out, go see some fun movies, go learn a new language, do things to enhance your person so that your life on earth is meaningful and fun and uplifted and sexy. Create for yourself a sexy life with some intellectual expansion. I do believe that's called sapio something. Are you sapiocentric? I don't know if that's right. What is it when you're attracted to somebody because by their mind? Jessica, what's that called? Jessica's like, metamorphosis. Okay, sorry. I'm gone all off track here. Here we go. All right. Next, oops, I'm on the wrong one. Next one, physical soundness. Here we are living in this world, okay? And we have a body, right? We need to make sure this physical body is healthy. So I want you to make some kind of a commitment and a declaration about physical soundness and what that means for you. And this is based purely on you and your own needs. For example, if it's drinking more water, if that's going to help you be more physically sound, I want you to write that down. If it means changing your entire diet because you're not eating really well, I want you to write that down, okay? What does it mean for you to be physically sound? Maybe setting some goals for your body. Maybe it's about building strength. Maybe it's about improving your yoga practice. Anything like that. Whatever it is you need to do to help yourself be more physically sound, I want you to write that down. What are you going to do for that? Okay. The next one is time wealth. Time wealth. This is really, really, really important because number one, we're here on earth and we are living in time. And we very often say that there are not enough hours in the day. And that feeling is really contracting. It's when we say there are not enough hours in the day, like it's like all of a sudden you're up here like, but there are not enough hours in the day. So what we want to do is see what it means for you to increase your understanding of time. How can you bring more time in your life? How can you allow, for example, allow more things to flow to you instead of going all the time toward the things that you want? How can you give yourself a more expansive feeling of time? Me personally, I like going at my own pace, and it allows me, so I have my whole morning, that's all mine. So I wake up at 4 a.m. because I feel better when I wake up early and I get my morning practice out of the way. I like to give myself an hour and a half for that as a minimum. The way my system works, I need an hour and a half. That's excessive. You probably don't need that much time. But still understanding that those early morning hours when everybody's asleep and nobody's texting you, nobody's emailing you, nobody's on Facebook, everybody's asleep. Sometimes when you can just wake up and even if you're just lying in bed and you're just contemplating peacefully, that gives you a feeling of abundance, luxuriousness. And personally, that early morning luxury, allows me to be really peaceful and calm all day long, right? And it also allows my day to end at 6 o'clock. I don't work past 6 o'clock. Wait, that's not right. Sometimes I work past 6 o'clock on my projects when I want to work on those, but I don't see clients after 6 o'clock. And whatever I'm doing after 6 o'clock, there's a reason why I'm working on it, which is going to be short term. If I'm doing a project, that's short term, you know. So feeling, in order to be a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have to really feel like you and time are in a really healthy relationship, not that time is beating you down, which I know a lot of people feel that way. All right. So for this section, I want you to write down how you can improve your relationship with time. All right. That would be a good way to look at this. Now, financial freedom. So there are a lot of ways to look at financial freedom. And if you ask someone who's non-spiritual, they're going to be like, yeah, financial freedom means that you are free from, you have enough money so that you are free to to basically buy whatever you want and do whatever you want. For me, financial freedom actually means that you're free from finances. You get to live your life and do all the things you want to do, whether you have finances or not. Meaning finances don't dictate your life, and finances, whatever your status is, finances don't limit you. Now, some people, spiritual people get this though, but some people will be like, yeah, well, what if you want to get a car? What if you need a car? You need finances and money to get a car. And my response to that is maybe yes and maybe no. I mean, I paid money for my last car, and then I sold that car for more money than I bought it for. And I'm just, it makes me think, well, that's, finances didn't do that. I did that. Like, this is my energy. I chose that car. I chose to sell it at the right time. That's me in the flow. Finances are responding to me. That's what I mean by financial freedom. Finances respond to me. I don't limit my life based on finances. I hope that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, please let me know. Okay, wait, Monica. Hey, Monica. Monica, I miss you. Miss you. Good to see you, darling. Thanks for being here. Next one. Okay, so please write down for you what financial freedom means. Okay, and how you can give yourself some financial freedom now. All right, and maybe even, what would you like to have for yourself financially in the future? Okay. All right, the next one, personal relationships. So as a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have you, and then you have your life partner and your children and your parents and your brothers and sisters and your cousins and aunts and uncles, right? So it's you and then all these people around you, okay? You've got to make a decision about what you want in your life. And I want you as an authority, as an author of your own life, I want you to author your life. And the opportunity here is to author your life and to say what you want for your personal relationships. Now, if you are having trouble with some relationships, this is a great opportunity to rewrite that story. And my question would be, how can you write the story of these personal relationships in a way that feels better, more exciting, more fun, more fulfilling, and more rewarding, right? What do you need to make your relationships better? That's what this declaration and the commitment is about. Understanding what it is you want, making a declaration for it, and then doing the work to make it real. Okay, so consider what you, as this badass butterfly, what do you want to create for yourself as far as your personal relationships are concerned? All right. Next on our list is social structure. So you live in a community, okay? Unless you live in the woods and you are totally off the grid and you are totally self-sufficient, all right? That would not involve with you. These next two don't involve with you. The last two don't involve, gosh, I keep saying the last two. These are not the last two. We have four. These next two don't involve you if you are off the grid and you are not interested in being with people. For everybody else, you need to make a decision about, like, you need to contribute something. And this is kind of what these declarations are all about. It's about contributing something wonderful to your society, not just being all about me, me and my needs, me and my emotions, me and my feelings, okay? But actually saying, hey, I live in this neighborhood and, you know, I see this woman sitting on the corner all the time with her hand outstretched, asking for money. And I can walk past her every freaking day. I can walk past her every day and avoid eye contact. Okay, I see it being done all the time. Don't make any eye contact. Or I can walk past her and put money in her cup or not. But I can also walk past her and look her in the eye and say, good morning, how are you? And put money in her cup or not. The point is that, in my humble opinion, I am a part of everything. She is a part of me. She's in my community. I care. If she weren't there, I'd be like, what the hell happened to that woman that was there every day? I'd be like, what the hell happened to her, right? I'm just saying, you have the right to participate in your community in the way that you want to. I want you to at least think about how you are showing up in your community. And I want you to question your own choice for why you do the things you do in your community. And my question, and what I want you to do for in your workbook is basically to say, yeah, what's my role in this social fabric? You know, what's my, what's going on around me? Now, I'm kind of answering my next two questions at the same time, because I have community involvement and social structure. And these two seem really, really, really close. For me, I need to back up a little bit, because I kind of was talking to you about community involvement, not social structure. Because community involvement is participating in your community, understanding, you know, who your local politicians are, understanding, hey, there's a big old pothole in the middle of the road, and or there's so much dog poop, or there's so much bird poop, like, who's cleaning this up, getting involved. There's a homeless family, or there's a family down the street. The mom just went into the hospital and there are 4 kids and the father. And you know that that's going on because, number one, you're involved in your community and this is going on in your building. You would want to know that. Or if this is going on in your block, you might want to know that. You might want to be of service. You could be of service, you know. It's so easy to get wrapped up and to not do those things, to not be a part of, to not, especially if you live in the city. And right now, I live in the city and I'm really aware of this, okay, and how difficult it is to connect when you live in the city, because it's like, if you live in the city, you're trained to put on blinders, like you're not allowed to look at other people in the city. Like when you live in the suburbs or you live in the country, every time you pass a person on the street, you wave hi. And when I was living in Fair Oaks, California, I'd be walking down the street, okay? I'm walking with a polo, and some old white man in his truck is going by and he's waving like, hey. And I'm like, hi, hey. That's what you want. You want to feel That's what I want. Okay, you may not want this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should not say that's what you want. That's what I want. What I want for you is to articulate what you want and to create that for yourself. All right. That's what community involvement is about. I need to go back because I need to clear up what I said about social structure. So, you know how you are where you are in your life. You are the age you are. You earn the money that you earn. You have the friends you have. And you're involved in the things you're involved in, you know, your groups, your clubs. Well, you are somewhere in a social structure, you're somewhere on the line in the social structure. So if you are a big baller, you got a job that pays you, you know, $500,000 a year, you are that person who maybe is a little bit up the social structure as far as having some authority and comfort in their life. Maybe you are very well educated and you already own your home. You owned your home when you were 30. You bought your home when you were 30. You've been investing, you know, all these things. And you have a kind of sense of, I'm up here on the social structure and that carries with it some level of prestige. Now, let's say that that's not you. Let's say that you are working as let's say that you are working as a yoga teacher, and you're making, you know, just a few $100s a month, and you are renting a room in a place, and you are, you know, you don't have a lot of money to kind of do the things you need to do. You're limited. You want to do things, but you feel limited by finances or by your circumstances. That's going to put you in another level socially because you're working in a place of limited stuff. All right. With your social structure, I want you to move yourself up the social structure, not by making more money, but by elevating your expansive spirit, right? So the way the 3D world right now is set up is kind of like if you have more money, you're higher up, you're in the upper classes. And if you have less money, you're in the lower classes. That's just the way our society is set. Well, I want you to think about this differently. I want you to think about yourself in terms of your energy. And where you are right now, let's say that you are yoga teacher and you make $200 a week. That's all you make. Well, that's fine, because I think that that is not a problem. What I think I want you to do though, is to move yourself up the social order by expanding your being, expanding what you know, expanding your person, expanding your adventureness, your creativity, your adventurous spirit. I want you to expand your ideas. I want you to think bigger. I want you to go more places. I don't want you to be limited, because very often when we have less money, we find ourselves doing less things. Oh, I can't go do that because I don't have the money. Well, figure out how you can do that. You may not have the money to go to Paris, but you certainly have the money to rent some movies or get Netflix and watch some French films or learn the language or whatever you want to do to bring you closer to Paris if that's your goal. So I want you to move and elevate yourself in the social structure by expanding your person and your being, and at least being an energetic, creating an energetic vortex that will help bring you more of what it is you desire. I hope that makes sense. If I'm not making sense, please let me know, and I will clear things up. It looks like we're okay. Yes, thank you, Monica. Thank you. Now we're almost done, y'all. So we've covered social structure and we've covered community involvement. These last two, earth ascension, okay, and unconditional love, these are really important. Because as a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, and I have a feeling that this will really resonate with you, you care. Let's just be honest. You care. You care about the earth. You care about the physical earth, like that dirt out there, that ground, that soil, that water, that tree. You care about that. I know you do. And you care about the earth's resources. As a badass butterfly, okay, this isn't even about being a life coach, but the badass butterfly lifestyle is about taking responsibility for the earth, for the community, for our social place, but for our family, for our wellness. It's about taking responsibility and creating something powerful that helps this earth. So the thing that I want you to consider and explore in your workbook is how you can help the earth ascend. I'm sorry, every time the kids walk in, I get really distracted. They are adorable. Their parents are walking ahead, pushing the little basket or the bassinet or whatever it is called, the pram. And the little kids, and they're so small, their legs are like this big. That little boy, to me, looks like he's that big, and he's got on a hood. Just adorable. It's so distracting because it's just so beautiful. I love kids. I don't want children. Don't want to be pushing a pram, but I do love that energy. So the earth ascension is about making a commitment. What am I going to do to help this earth ascend? How am I going to help this place? What am I going to do? Oh my God, his dad is picking a flower for him. His dad is trying to entice him to come, and he just bent down and picked up a little, up one of the little dandelions, and he's holding it out. And the little boy is like, I want the dandelion. He's like a little toddler. He can barely walk, and he's just adorable. That's just really cute, man. I just feel so good. I'm just so blessed, man. Anyway, so yeah, so in your workbook, I want you to write down what you can do to help the earth ascend. What's your contribution going to be to the earth's ascension? All right. All right, next, last one, unconditional love. So unconditional love is a practice, all right? And people always ask me, Crystal, what does that even mean, unconditional love? I'm being who I am. Unconditional love to me means loving unconditionally. It means that you don't have conditions to give love. Like very often it's like, oh, I don't love you unless I know you. Okay, that's a condition. In order for me to love you, I have to know you. Oh, I love you when you do something good, and I don't love you when you do something bad. That's conditional love. Okay, so when you put a condition on love, you are in conditional love. Unconditional love is when you just love regardless of what's happening. And this is really hard to do, okay? And right now, you are where you are, and you can only do the best you can do. Your job is to do the best you can do for now, and spirit will grow you so that you can do more as you grow. But if you do nothing, then you're not going to even start. You're not even in the game. So I'd like for you to please write down how you can start creating more opportunities to bring in unconditional love, to give unconditional love, to practice loving unconditionally. All right. Okay, and then this last section is really just about declarations and commitments. Like, you need to write them down, okay? Commit to them. And I don't want you to write down something that you can't commit to, okay? Like, please do not write, I'm gonna love everybody unconditionally. Okay, you can't commit to that. Not yet. You might need to commit to, I'm gonna practice loving everyone unconditionally between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. That works. Okay. You get to do whatever you want to do, but don't bite off more than you can chew because you don't want to fail yourself. Okay. Just give yourself some kind of a guideline so that you can enjoy not failing at these things, okay? Just give yourself a little bit of an inch your way into unconditional love, inch your way into helping the earth ascend, inch your way into all of these things, okay? Inch your way into financial freedom and time wealth. You don't have to do it all and take it all on right now, okay? It's not really the point. Just inch your way in and do the best you can to get started, okay? All right, I'm gonna stop my screen share, and that's basically the lesson for today, y'all. So if you have any questions, drop me a line, leave your comments on the leave your comments on the Facebook feed. All right, leave your comments on the group page. I mean, on the in the group page or in the curriculum. All right. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.